All right. So, like I said yesterday, that today we'll be discussing Mending Walls, written by Robert Frost. Okay. So, who will tell me about Robert Frost? What do you know about him?
Ma'am, Robert Frost was born on year 1874.
Hmm. All right. Then,
Ma'am, Robert Frost was an American
Ma'am, he was
poet.
an American
His
poet.
writings were first published in England and after that published in America.
okay. All right. Then, tell me some of his famous works.
Ma'am, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening and The Road Not Taken.
Okay.
Ma'am, his first poem, A Butterfly and Elegy, was published in 1894.
Okay. All right. Now, he's a very famous poet, as you already told me, and you must have heard these lines. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. They are very famous lines and quoted in so many different places. All right, and these lines are taken. Oh, who is this? And these lines are taken from his poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. So, he is a very famous poet, and today we will be discussing the Mending Walls. Okay, so what is this poem about?
Ma'am, this poem is about barriers between people.
Okay. So, will someone write to read the first paragraph or the first four lines? But make sure the one who opens their mic, otherwise there is silence in your room where you are sitting, otherwise it will not be clear for the rest. So if there's complete silence around you, then only you open your mic and read out. Okay, will someone like to do that?
Ma'am, I'll do.
Okay.
Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps even two can pass abreast.
All right. All right. So now what the poet is saying? Yes.
The poet is trying to say that there is something
Hmm.
that doesn't want the wall to be made
Hmm.
between the two peoples or the two neighbors,
Hmm.
and that sends the frozen signals under the ground, and as a result of which the stones or the boulders on the top of the wall, they fall down and makes gaps, and sometimes these gaps are too big that even two people can pass through it.
Okay, two people walking together, all right, they can pass through it. And basically what happens in winters, the ground swells, and so normally what happens during winters, some of the boulders, they always fall down. Okay, next four lines. Someone else, hurry up.
Ma'am, I'll do.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'll
Yes, Ashita.
The work of hunter is another thing. I have come after them and made repair. Where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding.
Hmm.
Ma'am, the poet is trying to say that the hunters, he feel like the hunters did not do this because
Hmm.
when the hunters come, they do not left even one stone
Hmm.
on the wall
Hmm.
to fetch the rabbit.
Hmm. Because what they basically, the hunters are after the rabbits, all right,
Rabbit.
and so when the hunters break the walls, then it is very different kind of a breakage, because at that time they don't leave even one stone on a stone, means the whole wall, it basically breaks down from the place where they have gone through, so they break everything there. Okay, yes, who will continue?
Ma'am, I'll do.
Okay.
To please the yapping dogs,
Hmm.
the gaps I mean. No one has seen them made or heard them made.
Hmm.
But at the spring mending time, we find them there.
Hmm.
I let my neighbor know beyond the hill.
Hmm. Yes, will you explain that? Yes, Adya?
Ma'am, the poet is saying that there is no one who has heard or seen the gaps being made.
Hmm.
But when the mending time comes,
Hmm.
they are always there.
Alright, so the poet is saying that the gaps, no one has seen them made, means no one has physically with the eyes seen anyone making these gaps in the wall, or no one has heard while they were making these gaps in the wall. But whenever they meet at springtime to mend the walls, they always find the gaps there. Okay, yes, who will continue? Come on, hurry up. Okay, and so then he says that I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. Uh, all right, so what he says that the poet says that he lets his neighbor know on which particular day they will meet so that they can build this wall again. And we keep the wall between us as we go to each the boulders that have fallen to each, and some are loaves and some so nearly balls. So what he's saying that the day when they set they set to build the wall again, then both of them are present there, and on each side what they do, you know, the boulders they fall on each side, so they pick up the boulders that have fallen on their side and they place them on the wall. And these boulders, these huge stones, are of different shapes and sizes, like some are like loaves, means flat, and some are just like balls, all rounded. So these stones or boulders are of different shapes and sizes. And the poet is saying that we have to use a spell to make them balance. And what is the balance? That stay where you are until our backs are turned. Okay, so what he's saying, because you know they are not using any cement or anything else to make these rocks or boulders stay in place. They are simply placing these boulders or these rocks on top of each other, and you know when they are of so many different shapes, so it is very difficult to balance them. So what the poet is saying, that they try to use some magic tricks, that they are there on the wall, all right, and they don't fall down till the time they turn their back. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side, it comes to little more. There where is we do not need the wall. So he's saying that you know these boulders, they are not very small stones, little huge stones. So what the poet is saying that to pick up the stones and put them on the wall, so they wear their fingers out, they hurt their fingers, their hands are made rough, and so he's saying that it is just like another outdoor game. And both, you know, the poet is on his side, then in the middle there's a wall, and his neighbor is on the other side, just like, you know, so many games that we play. And but he's saying, but the problem here is it comes to little more, there's something more to it, and here they have a wall where they don't need a wall. Now why does the poet think that they don't need a wall? Because he's saying that his neighbor has a pine orchard and he has an apple orchard, and so obviously they don't have animals, so his apple trees or obviously will not get across the boundary and eat the cones of his pine trees. So he tells his neighbor also that they don't need the wall here, but his neighbor, he replies that good fences make good neighbors. Okay, what do you think, what does this line mean? Good fences make good neighbors. Anyone in the class? Yes, come on. Who will tell me the meaning of this line? That good fences make good neighbors. Come on, try. Yes, Navya, where are you?
Ma'am, the poet's neighbor wants to say that there should be at least some barrier between their houses,
Hmm.
as to which this was a primitive thought of this ancestors of the neighbor's ancestors.
Hmm. All right. Now, basically, you know what he is trying to say, that in order to have good relations, you can put it this way also, in order to have good relations, Anadi, stop doing what you're doing. Okay. So what he is trying to say, that in order to have good relations, perfect relations, there should be there should be a limit or a barrier or a boundary between relations, so that the relations are sweet and they don't go sour. Because if you mingle too much, sometimes what happens when we mingle too much, then some bitterness and sourness and problems arise. So this statement could be taken in that way also, that there is, mean, good fences. If you have a good fence, a good barrier, a good limit, means you know when to cross the line, then the relations are always good. Okay, and we continue. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. So the poet goes on to say that maybe this springtime, it is such a nice season, and the flowers are in bloom, and what he's saying, that maybe this naughtiness or this mischief in him is being brought about by the springtime. And then he wonders that whether he'll be able to put this thought in his neighbor's head, that why good fences, they make good neighbors. And then he says that isn't a wall or a barrier or a fence needed where there are cows? Because cows wander from one place to another, they may go to another's side, and so he's saying that maybe the wall is required where there are cows, but here there are no cows. uh, Before I built a wall, I'd asked to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. And then the poet, he continues and he says that, now before I start to build a wall, I want to know that what I am trying to keep in, walling in, and what I am trying to keep out. Because if I'm trying to keep in my apple trees and try to keep out the pine trees, it is of no use. Alright, so that is why he wants to know that what he is walling in and what he is walling out. And if he doesn't build a wall, then who will take an offense on that? Means who will not like this thing? Then again he goes on to say that something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I would rather say he said it for himself. And then he again goes on to say that there is something, means the poet is there who doesn't love this wall between his property and his neighbor's property, but he says that there is something else that also doesn't like the wall in between their properties, just like the poet. And that person also, or that thing also, wants this wall down. And then he says that he could take the name of elves. Elves are like a mystical fairy creatures, small, big eared creatures, and he could say that I could take the name of elves. But he says that it is not elves exactly, and maybe he is talking about himself only. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. And then he says that he sees his neighbor coming with stones in his hand, and he is holding the stones firmly with both hands, and he is looking like an old stone savage armed. Alright, means in the stone ages, what were the weapons of the people? They used stone tools only, or stone weapons only. So just like now, he is walking with boulders or stones in both the hands, and the way he is walking, he is looking like a savage of the old age. Means this modern time and new thoughts are not there in his mind, and he is still dominated by the old notions or the old age things. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go beyond his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. So the poet says that to the poet, he appears that he is moving in darkness, shadow, and this shadow is not only of the trees which are there in the on the hill, but he is saying that it is not, this darkness is not only of the trees. So what he means is that neighbor, he is in darkness of the old age thoughts, and he is not ready to change. He thinks what he has been following, he should continue with that, and he just simply wants to follow what his father always said, and he also has thought about it well, and he doesn't want to deviate from it to the right or to the left, and he simply says again that good fences make good neighbors. All right. So, is that understood? Any questions? Any confusion anywhere? Yes, what about the others? All are sleeping?
No, ma'am.
All right. So, understood? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so why don't you all prepare this chapter? Okay, and maybe I could ask you questions on the next time we meet, next English class. What do you think?
Okay, ma'am.
Will that be
Okay, ma'am.
okay for all? Okay, so what you all can do, prepare this chapter, and I will be giving you your syllabus also for the half yearlies, and start preparing for your half yearlies, all of you. Okay. Because
Yes, ma'am.
most probably today itself I will give you your syllabus, and so now start preparing, all of you, and complete your written work in all the subjects. Okay.